Hey, this is a new week. I've just come back from the Brighton Marathon that I finished yesterday with my sister. That's why I'm so sunburnt. Look at how bright red my face is. My other half did tell me to wear sunscreen, and I completely forgot to do that. And now my whole face, I actually say my face hurts more than my legs, which is kind of nuts, really. So, yeah, smashed the Brighton Marathon yesterday. It went really, really well. My sister did, like, amazingly. She only started running, like, a year ago as well. So, a year later, she's done her first marathon, and we did pretty much most of it without walking. I think we only did, like, 20 minutes of walking in the end. Just goes to show what hard work can do, eh? But we're going back to a bit more of a vloggy sort of style content for this week. Got quite a busy week in terms of lots of meetings. I've got my big pitch that I've kind of been teasing you guys about for ages. We've just done a run through now. I'm feeling really confident with it. I've got everything crossed because if we win this job, it would really put anti-gravity a bit on the map. So I'm rehearsing that today. I am also doing some bits and bobs for our 2 other clients, getting things ready for there. We've got a few conversations about some animation work coming up, and we've got a kick-off of a new brand next week. So it's all a go. But yeah, I'll keep you guys in the loop throughout the week. Hello, so I'm in Colony King Street today. Brand new site, brand new day, opening for Colony. It's gorgeous in here, guys. Absolutely stunning, and it's absolutely rammed as well. I've already chatted to like loads of new people. It's just a vibe, and it's so in the sort of like big sort of centre of Manchester as well, so close to everything. It's just grand. I'm absolutely vibing on it. But yes, the reason I'm dressed so smart is I've just come back from our big pitch, the one I've been banging on about for ages. I think it went really well. I think we answered all the questions that we need to answer correctly. The pitch location was stunning, and I got some really good hope about this. I got really good vibes and really good feeling. I think we've got it in the bag, but time will tell. We're going to find out either today or by the end of the week if we've got it, alongside another tender. So just left Colony for the day. I'm on my way back to the car, and just a quick thought that I was thinking about, which was Coachella of all things. I think we've done a lot of talks on anti-gravity about your brand being bold and being a bit out there with your creative so you stand out, but I think Coachella can also show that you can go the other way too. If you're in a noisy market that's already bold and a bit crazy, sometimes it pays to be quite sleek and silent, and I guess what we're trying to say is it's important to go against the grain sometimes, right? So if you look at Coachella is quite a bold festival. It's a lot of colours, a lot of things going on, a lot of influencer stuff as well. And so when Justin Bieber did his gig where he just basically sat down, got up YouTube, for a place that feels so out of reach from people sometimes, like Coachella does, it really connected with an audience because it brought things a bit more down to earth in a place that's not very down to earth. So that's another important angle to take. If you're already very loud and very out there, sometimes a quiet, calm approach can also cut through noise. And I guess that's what we're trying to do at Anti-Gravity, really, is just show you how through marketing, through branding, you can really stand out as a brand and not blend in. So we had the pitch, and unfortunately we didn't get it this time. It's okay. We've got to dust yourself off, and we've got to take stock of the fact that, considering we're only 4 months in as being a proper full-on agency, to beat so many people and get to the sort of final round and actually pitch was really encouraging. Shows we're doing something right. We're going to reach out for feedback and see what we can learn and develop for our next pitch, and just go from there, right? We've just come back from a really, really cool event in Stockport, a stock room, where it just talked a lot about values, and it talked a lot about AI and that sort of side of things in general. And the value stuff was really interesting. It really resonated with us as an agency. There was a lot of talk about being bold and distinctive with your brand and knowing your persona, just having a really strong brand strategy so you can get your product to market faster, and so that was really valuable. But the real thing that was really interesting was there was a lot of talk obviously about AR, and the biggest takeaway really, other than the fact that we were showing an advert done by it was like a bench for going to the toilet, and the CEO of the company, I think it was called the Poopy Potty or something like that, and it was obviously quite like a weird product, but the CEO put all his marketing spend into a crazy sort of campaign which showed unicorns having like pooing.
And it went viral, and it did really well, and the sales went up 600%, and they just did something that was so cutting and bold that just really landed with an audience. And I would bang on about this every week, but I have to keep banging on about it because he took a risk and it massively paid off. Like I say, 600% increase in sales, like 112% increase in visitors on the website, and the company ended up selling for 32 million because it just garnered such a reputation. And whilst it was at its peak, the CEO sold it. So this is what I'm saying, like you've got to be bold with stuff. So that was like a really interesting part, and I really enjoyed the talk on that about being bold with your marketing and looking at ways to stand out. Because, like I said, that porta potty thing could have just been really boring. Like, it could have just done the bog standard stuff and been sat in like a B&M bargain somewhere. You wouldn't think twice about it. But by doing something so bold and different, it really stood out and enabled them to really boost their sales. So, and that's ultimately what we're here to do, right? So that was one side of it. The other side, which was really interesting, was all about AI, right? And I know I've already mentioned AI, but the big sort of thing that we took away from it was that we were all doing prompts, and this big sort of room full of like founders and business leaders that we were all chatting to afterwards. A lot of them were just saying, there's this real emphasis that AI has to do everything. People just need to see it as a tool to get to the thing faster. A lot of the people, we were talking to about marketing and branding in general, and a lot of them are using AI to try and create their own stuff, but they're finding it takes them 3 times as long as if they just hired someone. A lot of people were talking about, there's this big thing about the AI bubble bursting, but I think it's more that, potentially, yes, financially it might burst, but I think there's also an element of the pendulum swinging the other way. What was seen as pretty detrimental to the creative industry is actually now swinging back the other way, and it's the creatives are using it to empower their work to get amazing results faster, without replacing any of the creativity. And the real key now is to make stuff that doesn't look like AI, right? Like someone I was talking to was saying about how I think when AI started being able to write books, we all thought maybe they'll take over, but there's no AI authors that have absolutely popped off. In fact, there's not really any AI musicians that have really popped off, or artists or anything. Nothing's really popping off. If anything, it's being used for what we were hoping it was going to be used for, which is just a creative tool to really benefit and speed up our processes without ever replacing the creative angle. So that was really interesting about hearing how so many business leaders now are kind of using it as a tool and just seeing it as a tool, really, not a replacement for anything across the business. Even some of the software teams that we were talking to, and there's a big thing about software developers who had been fired in Silicon Valley who have now been brought back. And they've been brought back and they know how to use AI. So AI is helping benefit the work and the speed, but it's not replacing it. And I think that's the critical thing here. So yeah, very interesting to me. Whirlwind of a week. I think we're going to start looking at trying to do something a little bit different with these as well. I've really been enjoying sort of talking through my weeks and stuff like that. I'm wondering if there's a different kind of angle and a different way of bringing you guys value. Whether that's just conversations with people in my network across Manchester, or I just talk a little bit more in depthly about creative practices and studies and stuff like that. Maybe just still do a bit of a roundup of where the business is at weekly, so you guys know. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments anyway. It's a bit of a short one this week, but catch you on the flip side. Bye.